This is the third time that I have been arrested, and it does not ever get easier. It's still scary and very hard regardless.
Not specifically, but I am close to my destination.
Why shouldn't you be driving right now?
I did have a drink earlier, so I don't know how much that impaired me, to be honest with you. I'm not
Do you
too
feel
sure
like
about
you're impaired?
I'm gonna go home tonight.
I understand, but my parents, if they find out about this.
On a freeway at night, an officer encounters a woman driving at a high speed of 104 miles per hour. The officer engages with her, inquiring about her well-being and her awareness of the speed she's maintaining. He asks about her origin and requests her to step out of the car for a check. The officer, detecting the smell of alcohol, decides to ensure she is fit to drive. He offers a lenient approach, suggesting that if she passes a sobriety test, she will be let off with just a warning, avoiding a citation.
Hi. How are you? How you doing? So you don't realize that you're going 104, leaving in and out of traffic, telling other people how to use your signal.
I was going about 18 and then realized you're about to
Yeah.
Right?
You're going 104. Do you have a driver's license? Go ahead and... Where are you coming from? Esperanza, where are you coming from?
I do not answer questions.
Let me get you to step out with me.
For what reason, sir?
So I smell the odor of alcoholic beverage on you, okay? And I want to make sure that you're okay to drive. And if you are, I'll let you go with just a warning.
The officer guides a lady through the steps, ensuring safety and clarity despite the late hour. She stands on the side of the road, her car parked nearby, as the officer adjusts his vehicle's lights to better assess her condition. The officer begins by asking about her alcohol consumption for the evening, a standard question in such checks. He then proceeds to inquire about any visual impairments that might affect the test, learning that the woman wears glasses. Further questions reveal she has a concussion and a broken hand from a recent physical altercation, factors that the officer takes into account as he continues the evaluation. The test involves following the tip of the officer's finger with her eyes, a task designed to assess her focus and control. The woman struggles slightly, her headache and the bright lights exacerbating the challenge, but she persists, eager to comply and prove her sobriety. As the test progresses, the officer instructs the woman to imagine a straight line leading to her vehicle, a mental exercise preceding the physical one of walking heel to toe in a straight line. The woman is confused by the instructions, prompting the officer to demonstrate the stance and movements required. The officer maintains a professional demeanor, balancing authority with concern for the woman's well-being. He is careful not to place her in harm's way, mindful of the traffic and the potential risks. The woman, for now, is cooperative, albeit slightly bewildered by the complexity of the tasks. She apologizes for any delays, her respect for the officer's authority evident in her efforts to follow his guidance.
Is anything that prevents you from walking, turning, standing on one leg?
I currently do have a concussion, but
How'd you get a concussion?
I was in a physical altercation that caused that.
Okay.
That was about 3 days ago, so. And I did break my right hand.
Okay, you don't have to do anything with that, okay? You go ahead and face forward. See the tip of my finger? Do you see the tip of my finger?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're gonna follow that with your eyes only, not your head. Do you understand?
Yes.
We can clearly see that the situation unfolding on the roadside is a meticulous and procedural one. The officer is conducting a field sobriety test. Esperanza is being instructed to perform a series of physical tasks designed to assess her ability to safely operate a vehicle. The officer explains the steps of the test, ensuring Esperanza understands each part before proceeding. Esperanza is asked to take 9 heel-to-toe steps towards her vehicle, a task that requires concentration and balance. She is to count each step out loud, maintaining her hands at her sides. After completing the 9 steps, she must pivot on her plant foot and return in a straight line. The officer demonstrates the action, counting out 3 steps as an example, though Esperanza is to complete 9.
See the tip of my finger, Esperanza?
Yes, sir. I apologize. I have a slight headache.
During the interaction, Esperanza informs the officer of her physical condition, noting that she is a power lifter and often experiences soreness. This information is acknowledged by the officer, who empathizes, sharing that he too had a strenuous leg day. Despite this, Esperanza completes the 9 steps as instructed.
I'm sorry, sir. Is that enough for that?
No. So we're
Why
almost
is
done,
it
but you're
not enough, sir?
well, you're making it take a little bit longer by keep moving your head, okay?
So
We're
you
almost
do
there.
go a little bit past my
So
peripheral
if you-
vision on that side?
If you don't see it, Esperanza, just keep it all the way until you see it come back into your vision, okay?
I can do that. Thank you, sir.
The officer then moves on to the next part of the test, which involves Esperanza choosing a foot to hold parallel to the ground while counting aloud in numerical order. The officer demonstrates the correct posture and counting method, emphasizing the need for both legs to be straight and the chosen foot to be held steady. Throughout the test, Esperanza expresses her nervousness and frustration, understandable emotions given the circumstances of being pulled over. The officer reassures her, explaining the necessity of the test and its basis in scientific guidelines. Finally, Esperanza discloses that she has not consumed alcohol but has been in the presence of those who have, and admits to using marijuana earlier in the evening. The officer, relying on his experience and the smell of alcohol, continues with the test, still suspecting that Esperanza may have consumed alcohol. With that being said, nobody could have clearly predicted what was going to happen next.
Esperanza, go ahead and put your hand
I
to your side again.
apologize. The light is just making my eyes water.
We're almost done. I'm almost about. So I don't have it directly in your face yet. Okay, Esperanza, go ahead and step on my light and face your vehicle. Okay, Esperanza, can you picture a straight line from where you are towards your vehicle?
I can picture it, sir, but you have an example right next to us.
I don't want to do that just because people are exiting, and I'm concerned about your safety, so I'm not going to place you on that because I don't want anybody to
I
hit you.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
It's just
okay.
harder to judge, so
Okay.
it makes it harder for you.
So
to
all I want you to do is picture a straight line.
And this is the moment when the routine of a field sobriety test is abruptly interrupted by the sound of gunfire. The officer has just instructed her to count in numerical order. As they begin, the officer reassures her that he will be told when to stop, ensuring clarity amidst the procedure. The test is underway and Esperanza is performing as instructed when suddenly, the unexpected sound of shots fired nearby pierces the night. The officer, quick to react, instructs Esperanza to stand and move to safety. They find cover behind a car, a necessary precaution in response to the potential threat.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, yes, sir.
Hold on, let's get that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
After that, the officer gently prompts to Esperanza to proceed with the final task. She expresses discomfort due to the recent alarming event involving weapons, with the officer acknowledging and understanding. The last exercise requires Esperanza to lift a foot of her choosing and hold it parallel to the ground, maintaining a straight leg and focused gaze on the elevated foot while counting in a specific sequence.
This part. So that we could get out of here.
If I could just have a moment, sir. I apologize. I just have to compose myself. That is a very triggering event for me with weapons and things like that. I'm trying to stay clear of them. I apologize, sir, and I do appreciate your concern.
Okay.
I
You
will do my
okay?
best for you. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So this last part that I need you to do is raise whatever foot you want, right or left. You're gonna hold it parallel to the ground, 6 inches.
Would you like me to face my vehicle like I was, or?
Are you comfortable there, or do you want to stand on this side? Here, just go on this side and then face your vehicle. So again, your legs straight. Hold on, just relax real quick.
Okay.
I just want to make sure you're fully under control. Both legs straight.
The conversation hints at the towing of a vehicle and an arrest, with the reason provided being related to liquor or drugs. The officer's inquiries about personal belongings suggest a standard procedure for ensuring safety and legality. The exchange is procedural, with the officer methodically confirming details before proceeding further.
Walk this way towards my vehicle.
For what reason, sir?
So you're gonna be
my vehicle?
I'm gonna be towing your vehicle. You're being placed under arrest, okay?
For what reason, sir?
For driving
I
under
do
the influence of
apologize.
intoxicating liquor and/or drugs, okay? Okay, let's walk back to your.
Please do not do this to me this evening.
I didn't do it to you.
Please.
Okay? You decide. That's okay. Right here, right here, right here. Right here. Here, all the way to my vehicle. Right here. Okay.
Esperance is informed of being under arrest due to suspicions of driving under the influence of intoxicating substances. The officer outlines the legal requirements for breath tests as per New Mexico's implied consent law, which mandates the submission of 2 breath samples to ascertain blood alcohol levels. Espinoza is advised of the right to an additional independent test, which can be conducted by a medical professional of their choosing, with costs covered by law enforcement. The officer clarifies the consequences of refusing the test, including the loss of driving privileges and potential legal repercussions. Esperance is reminded that the right to silence and attorney consultation does not extend to the breath test requirement. With understanding sought and presumably received, the officer guides her to proceed with the testing process, ensuring compliance with the law and safety on the roads.
Hey, Savage, I need you to drive it up a little bit because we're too close. You come this way, Esperanza, so that he can drive it up. This way, towards me. Towards me.
Espinoza is promised access to amenities such as the restroom and a phone, a small comfort in an uncomfortable situation. The officer offers advice on breathing techniques to help with the stress, a gesture of empathy amidst the formality.
I'll let you use the restroom and get some water and use your phone, okay?
I am trying my best to stay quiet. I do apologize.
The best way to help with that, Esperanza, is just keep breathing in your nose and out your mouth, like good, steady, heavy breath. It does help.
Thank you so much.
Espinoza, no stranger to this scenario, expresses a sense of fear and difficulty, acknowledging that this is not their first arrest. Despite Espinoza's refusal to consent to a breathalyzer test, the officer proceeds to prepare the machine, adhering to protocol while ensuring Espinoza's belongings are accounted for. The conversation touches on personal effects, with Espinoza being asked to remove jewelry.
I've been arrested, and it does not ever get easier. It's still scary and very hard regardless.
Well, I'll be upfront with you, and don't worry, I'm not gonna let you're with me, I won't let anything happen to you.
She's not destroying you.
Ultimately, Espinoza is asked to stand, and the officer checks for any restroom needs and confirms which hand is dominant. Espinoza's refusal to take a breathalyzer leads to a hospital visit for a blood sample and later arrested for these charges.
It's never been used, you'll never be used again. For what reason? I still have to turn on the machine and go through everything. So you totally understand everything that I write to you, right, about the applied consent and how it works and all that?
Yes, and I did not consent to a breathalyzer test.
Okay, so I'm still going to turn on the machine and let it go. Once this goes through its procedure, I'll let you use the restroom, and then if you could take off all your jewelry for me, and I'll make sure to keep it with all your stuff. I'll note it, and then I'll go with you. No, keep that in there. Yeah.
That is the only other piece. All the rest are
Yeah. You can have that. That's fine.
I did not think I was looking pretty to come see you guys this evening.
Are your extensions in there pretty good?
my hair. No, I can unclip it.
I'm gonna ask him first. I'll call down and I'll ask him to see if, because I've never had anybody.
Aggravated DUI, reckless driving, and possession of an open container. On October 3rd, 2020, Geneva found herself in a predicament that would lead to her arrest. The 23-year-old was driving through New Mexico when she decided to tailgate her friend at a dangerous speed of 107 miles per hour. Her actions were unnoticed by her, but not by the vigilant eyes of an unmarked police car trailing behind. The officer, upon witnessing her reckless driving and disregard for a stop sign, initiated a traffic stop. Geneva, caught in the act, could not deny her failure to stop. She attempted to justify her speed as an effort to keep up with her friend who was her guide to their destination. The officer, unswayed by her explanations, pointed out the risks she took, not just with her speed, but also with the proximity to the vehicle ahead. Geneva's night took a turn for the worse when the officer revealed his initial intent to pull over her friend, who was driving even faster. However, her decision to ignore the stop sign shifted his focus to her. The officer's inquiries delved into her physical state, ensuring no impairments that could have been influencing her driving. Geneva's responses painted a picture of a young woman who found herself in the wrong place at the wrong time, her decisions leading to consequences that would resonate beyond that night.
Let me walk over here for me, please.
Yep. Okay. Or it might be.
Vince,
Yes, sir.
where are you coming from, miss?
A party. I picked her up. Nick had 7 people in his car, so I didn't want to have him get pulled over, so I was the extra.
You're the extra?
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, miss, how much have you had to drink?
I drank at Gecko's at like 10. That was about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much?
I had a beer, and then I had a shot of tequila.
So 1 beer, 1 shot of tequila.
Yes, sir.
And that was at what time?
About 10?
About 10? So
Yeah.
it's been a while.
It's been a bit,
Okay.
yeah. I just got there. They didn't like the party, so now we're going to the cottages where Nick lives. So I was following him, make sure I got through the gate.
The officer instructed her to perform the horizontal gaze nystagmus test. She was asked to stand with her feet together and hands by her side, a posture of attention and readiness. The officer's fingers moved steadily, and she was to follow it with her eyes alone, a task that seems simple yet is revealing. The officer's trained eye watched for involuntary jerking of the eyeball, a sign of impairment. The walk and turn test was next, a test that challenges one's ability to perform tasks requiring attention, balance, and coordination. The officer carefully explained the steps, ensuring the young woman understood each instruction. She was to imagine a straight line and walk heel to toe, a task that would seem easy in a sober state. The officer demonstrated counting out loud, 1, 2, 3, a rhythm to follow. The young woman was to replicate this, taking 9 steps forward, turning on the spot, and then 9 steps back, all the while maintaining her balance and composure.
Miss, what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you picture an imaginary line, put your feet together, just like mine.
Good.
Yep, I'm gonna have you picture an imaginary line on the ground from where your left foot is, straight out in front of you to my right foot. Can you picture a straight line on the ground, yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, this line's gonna be approximately the width of your shoe. Do you understand that?
Sure.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Miss, what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you take your left foot, place on that line. Take your right foot, place it directly in front of your left foot, touching heel to toe.
Next, Geneva was instructed to perform the one-leg stand test, a critical component of the field sobriety tests. The officer directed her to a suitable spot and asked her to stand with her feet together, hands by her side, and to maintain this stance until told otherwise. The test required Geneva to choose a foot, either left or right, to raise approximately 6 inches off the ground, keeping it parallel to the ground. The officer demonstrated the position, emphasizing the need for both legs to be straight and for Geneva to look at her raised foot while counting in increments of 1,000. The officer suggested she might want to raise the other foot, but left the choice to her. Geneva decided to raise her right foot and began the test, focusing on maintaining her balance, keeping her foot parallel, and counting as instructed. The test was a measure of her balance and concentration, 2 abilities that could be compromised by alcohol consumption.
And keep your foot parallel to the ground. Don't point it up. This is parallel. Do you understand?
Okay.
Hands directly to the side, both legs straight.
Yes.
You're going to look down at your raised foot, and you're going to count in upper amount by 1,000, similar to this. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. You continue counting upward by 1,000s until I tell you to stop. Do you have any questions?
No.
Completely understand my instructions?
Yes, sir.
The officer, having observed her performance, inquired if there was any discomfort that could have affected her ability to complete the test. Geneva acknowledged a pulled muscle, but did not attribute it to any significant hindrance. And later, Geneva admitted to consuming alcohol earlier, which left her uncertain about the extent of its effects on her ability to operate a vehicle safely. The officer, considering her admission and the results of the test, expressed doubt about her fitness to drive. He instructed Geneva to proceed to the front of his patrol unit. The time was noted at 12:47, marking the official moment of her arrest for driving while intoxicated. The officer explained the pat-down process, ensuring Geneva understood each step before it was taken. The search was thorough, with the officer using the back of the hand for sensitivity and respect. Geneva was asked about any possessions that might be on her, such as keys, which she indicated were attached to her belt loop. He then informed Geneva of her rights under the New Mexico Implied Consent Act. She was told that she was required to submit a breath test to determine the alcohol content in her blood, and that she had the right to an independent test afterward. Geneva agreed to take the test. The officer checked for anything in her mouth that could affect the test results and then directed her to the rear of the vehicle. It was 12:50 a.m., and the formal process of assessing Geneva's sobriety was underway.
Okay, same thing.
Okay.
Sorry if I pinch you again.
You're fine.
Underneath, in between.
Okay.
Anything in your front pockets?
No.
Rear pockets?
No.
Okay. Listen to me, I'm about to tell you something important, okay?
Yes, sir.
You're under arrest for driving while under the influence of intoxicating liquor and or drugs. The New Mexico Implied Consent Act requires you to submit to a breath test to determine the alcohol content of your blood. After you take our test, you have the right to choose an additional independent test. If you choose to take this additional independent test, you have the right to a reasonable opportunity range for physician, a licensed nurse, laboratory technician, or technologist who is employed by a hospital or physician of your own choice to perform an additional chemical test. The cost of this additional test will be paid by the law enforcement agency, which is New Mexico State Police. Do you agree to take our test, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not going to continue reading since you're agreeing to be tested, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, listen. I'm going to have you open your mouth for me, please. Stick your tongue out. Lift it up to the sky. Do you have anything in your mouth that you can eat, drink, or smoke? Anything on your person that you can eat, drink, or smoke?
No.
Time is 12:50 a.m. Go and walk to the rear of my vehicle, please.
During the passenger checkup, the officer requested the passenger to arrange for alternative transportation. The passenger was initially confused about the request for her phone and wallet, as she did not have her wallet with her. It was clarified that the wallet was in another vehicle. The officer verified the passenger's age, confirming she was 19 years old, and reiterated the need for her to call for a ride. There was a moment of confusion regarding the key fob, which was necessary for the vehicle's operation. Initially, it was thought to be in the passenger's bag, but after a brief search and exchange, it was found to be attached to her keys. The officer corrected the misunderstanding and confirmed that the key fob was indeed with her.
Okay.
Yeah, just call somebody to come pick you up, okay?
Okay.
We're right here on Sunport, just by the airport, okay?
Okay.
And the key? Where's the key at? The key fob. Should be somewhere right here.
She's a push start, so.
Yeah. I see the key fob with her.
I mean, I have her bag right here.
It might be in there.
But I don't think it's in here because it was in here before we got in the car. No, I don't think it's in here.
Okay.
Can you just ask her where it's at? Because I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll get it. No worries. Where is the key fob at, ma'am?
You have it.
I don't have it.
My key fob?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's on my keys.
Oh, it is. It was on your person. My bad.
Yeah. That's okay.
No worries.
Geneva, after her arrest, found herself in a sterile room at the county jail facing the reality of her situation. The officer presented her with a personal mouthpiece for the breathalyzer test, ensuring her of its cleanliness. He explained the process meticulously, demonstrating how to create a tight seal with her lips and blow consistently into the device. The machine would play a tune, signaling her to keep blowing until instructed to stop. Geneva was required to provide 2 breath samples for the test. Geneva took deep breaths and followed the instructions, blowing into the mouthpiece when prompted. The officer monitored the process closely, ensuring that the samples were collected correctly. Upon completion, the breathalyzer revealed Geneva's blood alcohol content, or BAC, levels to be 0.10 and 0.11, both above the legal limit of 0.08. Confused, Geneva questioned the readings, having glimpsed lower numbers on the display. The officer clarified that those were part of a calibration check, which ensures the machine's accuracy using a gas cylinder. The calibration must fall within a specific range to validate the test results. The officer confirmed that the breath score itself was indeed 0.11 and 0.10, affirming that Geneva was over the legal limit for alcohol consumption while driving. This moment marked a turning point for Geneva, as the objective readings of the breathalyzer solidified the consequences of her actions. Geneva, facing her first DWI offense, was informed by the officer that she would be taken to jail but would be allowed to make a phone call. The officer, acknowledging the difficult situation, offered to uncuff her hands as a gesture of respect for her cooperative behavior. He explained the legal process ahead, noting that the charge was not yet on her record and that a court appearance was scheduled for 180 days later. Geneva was advised to remove any piercings before being placed in a holding cell where she would await a judge's decision.
Walk out, please. Go left. Another left.
A blue car was stopped for erratic driving and speeding. The officer inquires about their license and origin. The driver, near home, apologizes and mentions leaving a friend's apartment. An officer conducts a field sobriety test questioning the woman's alcohol intake. The person admits to 2 shots, complying with the officer's instructions to stand and face the vehicle. The officer prepares to assess the woman's ability to drive before potentially allowing them to proceed.
Good evening. Officer Robaldi, my civil state police team. I'm pulling you over because you're having extremely hard time maintaining your lane of travel. You're speeding. Okay. Do you have your driver's license with you?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get home.
I understand. Where are you coming from?
The apartment's on Paseo. My apartment's literally right here on Eagle Ranch Road.
Okay. You're almost home?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I understand. I just had a frustrated night.
Ariana? Can we get you a mini back here?
Yeah.
Okay. Just watch your step real quick. Okay. That's fine. So where were you coming from, Ariana?
My friends. We were hanging out and then I had to go.
Okay. How much did you have to drink tonight?
Literally like 2 shots.
Okay. Let me get you to just stand right here. You can face my vehicle. Let me just fix my vehicle real quick. I'm going to make sure that you're right to drive, and if everything's good, you'll be good to go, okay?
Thank you.
Ariana is asked to stand in the light and face the officer. Questions about vision and health are posed to ensure the test's fairness. Ariana, wearing sandals, is given the choice to remove them but opts to proceed. The officer instructs her to position her feet heel to toe along a line, a task that requires balance and coordination. Ariana's nervousness is palpable as she attempts to follow the precise instructions, placing one foot in front of the other, hands by her side, all while facing the officer's vehicle. She is supposed to walk heel to toe towards her vehicle, counting each step with her gaze fixed downward and hands by her side. After 9 steps, she must pivot on her lead foot, taking a small step to turn and retrace her path. The officer demonstrates ensuring clarity. Next, Ariana chooses a foot to raise, holding it parallel to the ground, and begins counting aloud, maintaining her balance. Despite a momentary lapse, she resumes, following the officer's steady instructions until signaled to stop and puts her shoes back on. The officer then continues to address Ariana, who stands apprehensively by the patrol car. He informs her of the arrest of driving under the influence. Despite her proximity to home, the law requires adherence to procedure. The officer explains the implied consent law, which mandates a breath test to measure blood alcohol content. Ariana is advised of her rights, including the option for an independent test at her expense. A thorough search is conducted to ensure safety and personal belongings are accounted for. The officer outlines the next steps: processing at the state police office, a breathalyzer test, and subsequent transport to a detention center. In the room, Ariana explains a recent encounter with an acquaintance, emphasizing that their meeting was coincidental and not prearranged. She recounts telling the individual she was heading home to rest, unsure if the person's subsequent presence was due to following her or sharing a similar route home. Despite the acquaintance's invitation to hang out, Ariana insists she declined, determined to end her night. The officer, focusing on the task at hand, offers Ariana a choice to sit or stand during the breathalyzer test. Opting to stand, Ariana follows the officer's instructions, taking a deep breath and blowing into the device. The result, a 0.18 blood alcohol concentration, prompts a second test to confirm the reading.
Did you want to sit or stand?
Can I stand?
Yeah, go ahead and stand up. So hold this in your hands. So put your mouth around that and give a nice steady, good firm breath in there, okay? Keep going, go, 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 stop. Okay. Go ahead and relax a minute and then I'll have you blow one more time, okay?
What was it? Can I ask?
0.18. So you'll do one more.
So which of these officers did you think handled the situation the best? Let us know your pick in the comment section below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos. Until then, stay safe and keep exploring. And keep exploring. And keep exploring.